Hi, I'm back. We just completed our detailed overview of color enhancement, and now we're going to go into finishing some of the projects that we've been working on. For those of you that have tuned in from the very first part of what I thought was going to be a three-part series, we're totally off script now. And so all of a sudden, the parts are going to change. I'm just going to call this part 4 because this is the fourth one we've done now. And after we finish up these projects today, I do still want to, as part of this process series, I still want to go into how to protect the flowers. Again, we'll be going over what to use, wet medium first, and Mod Podge, hot laminates, cold laminates, contact paper, glass, resins, that kind of thing. We'll finish the bookmarks as to hot laminating and talking about that. And then we'll just go into some other conversations, stickers, complete these 5x7 glass pictures. So that will be in future parts of this little series that is developing here. And they're kind of all intended to go together so you can see the entire process of this session that I've been working on from start to finish, including the color enhancing. So, looks like we're at part 4. From the last segment, I do want to have one overview. When you color enhance, you're still going to get sometimes flowers, bending a little bit. And here's a case of the larkspur where it's going to happen. So what you're going to do is after you color them, you always want to store them in your books, just like everything else for storage. But for today, I'm just going to put this piece of paper on top. I'm going to set these off to the side, and I'm going to put something on top of them, so that if I want to use these flowers today, which I don't think I will, they'll be flat. But otherwise, for storing them when you're done, just like everything else, just grab yourself a magazine or something and your papers, and then just store them flat so they're ready to use when you need them. Everything in here has been colored. So when I don't feel like making arrangements and I just want to zone out and listen to music, I will just color some stuff, put it away for a later date. I'm going to go ahead and sit down now, and we will get started finishing these projects up. Now, as you recall, I kept bringing this on them going, I'm not feeling it. Well, off camera, I'd made some decisions, and we're just going to go with it. Let's get the glue out. It's time to get serious. And again, if this is the first segment that you've watched in this series, if you don't want to watch the slow real time, go to your settings in YouTube and you can speed the video up and watch this in a faster speed. I've decided that I want to add a little bit more foliage. I'm using this to keep the bookmark from moving around while I get up under here because I want this in the background. And I think that I want it I'm just deciding how much. What I'm thinking about now is how much do I want infringing upon this orange here, and I really don't think I do, but I like the way this comes out here. So I think what's going to end up happening is I'm going to shorten that. I want the most silver side up, which is this side. A little bit of glue. Get up under there. Try not to break anything. Yeah, so I just want a little bit of something. And I think I'll put that in here. These are the stars of the show, so I'm going to put that on top of that. And then put that in here. And then I think we need another little something over there. Which side of the which side of the toothpick I'm using here. Now see, I obsess about things like this. It just looks like it's stuck on. It's not going appropriately. So I'm gonna cut it at a bevel so that when it's stuck on here, it doesn't look like, it looks like it's coming out of something. Okay, now I am going to turn this around. And I really like the silver artemisia. I'll put a little bit there. And just want something real small over here. Okay. And then otherwise than that, the only thing that I've decided that I wanted to do, I was thinking about putting some Queen Anne's lace on there, but it's starting to get too busy and take away from the focal point. So I decided on buttercup, coral bells, excuse me. And since I'm not sure what all I'm going to use, I'm going to get a couple different configurations. What I do know is I like the light pinkness of it, which is fine, but I do want a little bit of a yellow tint. So I am going to get out the markers that we now know work, and I have professed my love for, and we're going to decide which yellow we want to use. Do we want something real electric? And I think the Sharpie fabric markers are the most electric. Meaning they might show up better. But we'll go ahead and test. Yeah, see, I prefer I want something more light and upbeat. This is lighter than the other. No, for this we're just gonna, well, that wasn't bad either. It's just not really that much difference, but we're gonna use a Sharpie. So I'm just kind of tapping. These are fairly fragile. I mean, they'll break off easy, which is fine. You can still use them. But I'm just getting a couple ready because I'm not sure which pieces we're going to use. I kind of think of flowers also, in addition to, I don't think I mentioned that before, kind of like a collaging, or where people paint things on paper for collage. So in a way, these are flowers, but they're also paper-like elements. They're dry, they're paper-like in some respects. I mean, in a weird sort of way of thinking about it. And so I treat it like a collaging medium too. All right, I know I want something here. So I like that, okay. Now nothing's going under these, and these are really fragile, and I don't want them to get broken when they go through the laminating machine. Although they won't, because the laminate will hold them down, but I'll go ahead and dab some spotted glue in each of the segments. And we'll go ahead and put that down. All right, and I know that I want something over here. And you'll see me taking my finger and pushing down here, and that sometimes helps to lift it up enough that I can get under it, because if you just try to go under like that, it's just going to move around. And sometimes you need to kind of get up under it. Yeah, I like that one too. Okay. And I'm trying to make sure to maintain at least a little bit of a border here. Not that it matters, because this is going to go on a piece of cardstock, which is going to have a border on it anyway, but I don't want it all the way out to the very edge. That's about as close to the edge as I want. Would be right about, you know, these items here. Okay, now we should probably have something coming up over here for a little bit of a highlight. I don't want it to be very big. Get out of the way. You need to get these out of the way. They keep sticking in my finger. So I think we use this piece. That's the yellow. Yeah, well, it went away. Where'd it go? Okay. It's times like these that these really fine tweezers come in handy. These little small things. Kind of want it to look like it's coming out of something. And a few more little embellishments, and then we'll be done. Call it good. Put that under here. And then, I want something down at the bottom. I don't know if working flowers like this is for everybody, because it takes a lot of patience. But if you like to zone out, or you want to keep it more simple and you don't be so particular. I've also seen people do petal art, where they use petals and arrange them, which I also think is beautiful. All right. right, I think that I'm about done. I think the only thing that I would do if I do anything would be, if I want to have anything up in here. Okay, that's it. We're done. I can live with that. All right. Now let's clean this area up. And we'll start on our 5x7. Now, as mentioned in one of the earlier parts, I started on this and I totally reworked it off camera and ended up going with, this is the cardinal flower, which I wanted it to be the star of the show. And then we have bird's foot trefoil, and then I'm using pampas grass. I was trying to do something besides my favorite, which is Queen Anne's lace. And I think I'm basically done except for a few elements. And again, I came back to the buttercup, or I mean, excuse me, coral bells, because this is such a powerful color, even naturally. I mean, these are color enhanced, but that's what they look like. They're very intense. And so again, I just want something subtle. That's, at least I thought that's what I wanted. Check real quick. No, it's too intense like the other one. Yeah, we'll just stick with this. But I think here. Let's take a very mild, non-obtrusive pink, if there is one. Well, that side isn't doing it. Yeah, I'm going to try something here. I kind of don't want it yellow like what we just did for the Montbretia. So let's see what a mild yellowish pinkish orange does. Let's see what happens if we make it more yellow. More orange, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's kind of more what I'm going for. I want it to stand out a little bit from the yellow of this, but I don't want to leave the red, yellow, orange family. So we'll go ahead and color up another one and then decide what we want to do. So what was that? That was pink. And then yellow. And And I am curious how much more does the Sharpie add since it's more vibrant. Yeah, 50 of one, half dozen of the other, as they say. Yeah, it brightened it up a little bit. So now, let's go ahead and glue it on. I need to better get a hold of it better. All right. There. Just start putting these on. And I know I want to put one somewhere. Okay, I want this one. So back to pink. And Sharpie. Add some vibrancy. It seems, let's tone it down a little bit. Okay, am I on camera? Let's move over here a little bit. And I know that I want it underneath this stuff. Okay. Still want something over there. And that happens, that broke off. So I'm going to move it aside. Because I also just decided doesn't matter. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, but there, and I think maybe one more over in here somewhere. I didn't want to get it up under here. Okay. All right. And then other than that, do we need anything coming out of here? Or are we trying too hard? I'm thinking I'm going to leave it, because I really like the way this is. So I'm going to call this done. We'll check if we want any embellishments in a minute, but we'll set that aside. And then the last one we're working on is the anemone. Now, if you watch one of the earlier parts, this was totally, the anemone was here, and these three pieces of Queen Anne was here, but this, the pink larkspur was not there, and this was here. I had a little bit of this on here. And let me share with you, if you glue something on, and because I just glue small segments and it's not heavily glued, this was glued on. And so what you do, a little tip here, if you glue something on and you glue the way I do, then what I did is I took, you want to take something that's narrow and rounded so you don't bust through your paper or bust flowers. And I moved this up because this was tucked down under there. And because I could get up under here, I was able to, let me turn it to the angle that I was doing. Okay, so this was glued right here. And so I was able to get down under with a little pressure, but not enough to break the paper. And I was able to work the glue and pry it off without breaking anything. And so that's how I got that off there, because this was too bulky for what I wanted to do in this area with the larkspur. And I just decided I preferred the light pink of the larkspur, and this was in the way. I still want to use this, but it was in the way for what I wanted to do. So that's a change that you'll notice, and why you notice the change. So now we're going to go back to this element that I took off, and I think that I still want to use it, but now I want to put it in a slightly different location, because I like the blue with the colors. I don't think it's overpowering or bold enough to, yeah, see, I like that. Now, so this is what we're going to work with now. We're going to work with that. And I've got some more over here. And this has already been color enhanced. What do we want? Do I want something going that way? Yes, I do. So let's take this piece, see what happens. Excuse the dog up there. If someone walks by, he has a fit. It's a Doberman, and they're actually really good pets. They're very loyal. They're inside. We've managed to turn our Doberman into a couch potato, but then again, he's almost 8 years old, and they have a lifespan, I understand, of about 8 to 10 years old. So yeah, he enjoys being inside next to his dad. He's stuck to his dad. He likes me, but I'm not the one to him. But anyway, the point being that as soon as anybody walks by the place and he sees them or hears them, he's got to mind the business. He minds everybody's business but his own. And but really a very good pet if you have room. And if you let him know who's the alpha. That's the one thing, is you definitely want to let them know who the alpha is. And once they knew who the alpha is, they are very, very obedient. no, there's not really a whole lot of more blue I want to put on here. I kind of like that. Before I started this video, I'll just call him his dad, left. I went to town, and he started crying. Woo! every time he leaves, he starts crying. It's so funny. Okay, that's really, I think, all the splashes of blue I want on there. And we're going to now go into coral bells. Only the coral bells that I want for this one are going to be to the pink side and not the yellow-orange side. So that's what we're going to do. And then we'll be done. Now I just have to decide just how pink. I don't want it to be ridiculous. Let's do one piece and see if that's the shade that we want. Oh, I don't know if I said this about Dobermans, but outside of letting them know you're alpha, you want to socialize them when they're young, although this dog isn't very well socialized. I'm never worried about him. Well, you wouldn't want to be a stranger walking into this house. But it's good to socialize him young. We did take him to a dog obedience class when he was about 6 months old. But otherwise than that, if he doesn't know you or he doesn't have our permission to like you, then you're going to get the cackles on the back. Yeah, I can live with that. What word was that? Okay. He's so funny at feeding time because he's so well behaved and he's so obedient that, and we won't put up with a dog that takes over their food dish and doesn't even let you put the food in the bowl because they're all over it. So early on, he had to sit. He has to sit and wait for the food to be put down, and he has to wait until we say okay. And it was so funny because, well, two things. One is that he's really obedient and he'll wait until you say okay. And if you wait too long to say okay, he starts drooling. He'll just sit there looking at his bowl and he'll drool. It's just so, I don't know, I find it kind of funny, but it's cute. And then we went on a trip and we had a friend staying here one time, a couple of years ago, and he was watching Gunther while we were gone, and he knew that Gunther had to sit for his food. Well, so he told us when we got back that that he had Gunther sit for the food, and then he put the food in the bowl and he walked away because he forgot to say okay. And he said he came back like 15 minutes later because he went into a different part of the house after he put the food down and went back into the living room or wherever he went. And it came back and Gunther was still sitting there. And he's thinking, well, why is that dog just still sitting there waiting? And then he remembered that that he had to say okay. So he said okay, and then he went and ate. But I just thought that's how obedient he is. I mean, really, he's Don. So I think when he passes, we'll probably get another Doberman. I was reluctant at first because that was the desire. And to have another Doberman, I was going, I don't know. But now, yeah, it's probably the only dog that I would want at this point, especially knowing that that they're so loyal. And they're really good watchdogs. They're easy. Okay, well that's enough talk about him. Where do I want to put this? Yeah. Oh, I guess not. I do want to make one more comment about him. And then when it rains, of course we live in Oregon and it rains a lot. And for example, after he's been inside all night long, and you know that he's got to go to the bathroom, so we let him out in the morning, first thing before he gets fed. And if it's raining, he will go to the door and he will see. He just sees that it's raining, and he immediately runs back in. He hates the rain. And I swear he holds it until his bladder's going to burst, until he finally. Sometimes I think I'm more alpha than my husband, because they go, oh, well, he doesn't want to go off the porch, it's raining. And I go, well, when I put him out, I make him go off the porch and go. I tell him, you go, and he'll go. He'll go do his thing if you make him. But for the most part, he's not my dog, so to speak, so. All right, one more. We're done. Here, let's just use this guy. Did we color that? I don't think we did. Remember that commercial on TV where there's this couple sitting in their chairs, and I don't know what the commercial's for, but they're talking about I think it's a bulldog, and it's like, okay, this is Steve number 7 or something. I don't remember what the commercial's for. So they're going, okay, that's going to be us. This is going to be Dobie number 2 and 3 and 4. I don't think I like that. The color's too similar. There's nothing to break it up. I wanted something over there. Maybe I'll put it over here instead. I just wanted something on this side because this was feeling heavy. So we'll put this over here where we have a little something to break that up. Okay, I'm happy with that. Except for maybe one more little... I spoke too soon. Over that stem. Maybe we'll put a, let's see. We need something really small. I just feel like I want something. Yeah, I just felt like I needed something there. This will do it. Yeah. The coral bell over here was too. Just share my thought process. The coral bell over here was too much of a mass for this. You had the petal into the mass, and so there's no distinction. Whereas this is so airy that I just like it that way. But now that I did that, I feel like I need a piece over there. See, that's what happens. One thing leads to another, and then I keep going. It's like these people that you see that talk about, okay, I need to stop now because I'm going to ruin it. When's enough too much? When's enough too much? Okay, we're going to do it just because, and then really, seriously, I will be done. I promise. Okay. I love larkspur and anemone. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I think that's just so pretty. Okay, we are done with the arrangements, and the only thing we're going to do now is going to look back through, because I do a few little paint embellishments as the final icing on the cake. Get these back out of the way. Okay. Don't need any of these. Don't need that. All right, I'm going to do yellow. Now for this, I'm actually using the paint right out of the bottle. I'm not using the mixed stuff over there. I'm using the paint right out of the bottle and some water. And a small paintbrush. I need a real small paintbrush. So I'm going to use this one. And I'll probably use this one because I don't mind mashing this one, and I want to do some mashing. So we'll use these two. And I'm going to start with this one. And okay. So we're going to, oops, no, I just want to open the container. And I scoop a little of that out. It's only one thing I'm using this on, so that's all we need. And even that's probably too much. I'm going to bring the water over here so I don't have to reach so far. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm focusing on these oregano. And the oregano blossoms, when they're getting ready to flower, actually have little speckles of a lighter pinkish color, dark, kind of like this color. And maybe a little lighter, but I'm not going to, yeah, I'm not going to, so much for making up my mind. All right, there's a little white. We want to lighten it up a little bit. But see, I don't want it too light because I want it more subtle in the background. I'm not trying to focus this out real big time. But all I want to do is just go in and just put a few little accents like it's getting ready to flower. And to make it more noticeable, because they're so dark right now that you don't notice them that much back here. See, that makes them a little bit more noticeable. And that's really all I'm trying to do. And I'm using my fingers to soften it a little bit. Uh-oh. Well, there is a faux pas. That's what I mean by doing something and then at the end you screw up. So what and there's no way I can wipe that off. So what I'm going to do is, let me think for a minute. There's no tragedies, there's only happy accidents. Okay, I'm going to cut this shorter, and if I take off the this guy, it will be fine. So I'll just put it on the paper cutter, cut it shorter. So what I'm going to do, let me finish what I'm working on. So now you get to see what I do when I have an emergency. Let's finish what we're doing, because I'm not going to throw it. I've had so much time into this that if there's any way that it can be maintained, then it's not going to be thrown away. So just watch out for that. Don't be stupid. And when if you're using your finger, make sure you're rubbing in a direction that you're not going onto the paper. So, alrighty. So that's all we're doing there. And I'm going to put this in the water. Clean off my toothpick. And make sure my hands don't have any paint on them. And I am going to talk about removing things. I am going to try to remove this guy. There. Okay. Problem solved. So this particular bookmark just won't be quite as long, but that's okay. And so we'll just chop this bottom off right there. And no one will know whatever happened. Okay, so that's what we're doing with that. Now I'm going to take this other paintbrush and some yellow. Yellow is probably the color that I post process, meaning now that the arrangements are done and I'm just doing the final detail, is the one I use the most of. It is because a lot of times the centers are, I've gotten, you know, blue paint on the center when it's actually yellow, and so on and so forth. So this is what I use most often. So I'll put a little bit more out because we may need it on something else. All right, that should be plenty. And we'll get a little bit of water. Now this brush I use for mashing or stippling, so to speak. Because I'm not just painting, I just want to stipple a little bit, these seed areas here. Same here, the larkspur, there's some seed areas showing here, or what, not seeds, these aren't seeds, these are, well, I'm having a brain cramp right now. What they're called. Stamens? Well, anyway. I should have gone to botany school. I'd be a little bit more educated. Okay, so that's about it. So you see, it's not anything super intense. It just brightens it up a little bit. Makes it a little more finished. And there's not really anything else that I want to do with this. Okay, that's it. We're done. Cut that off, and so what we'll now let this all dry up and put it in our book up there that I referred to before. So we'll set this off to the side. Let's look at this, see if there's anything that we need to do. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow there, just to brighten up the center a little bit. I'll just stipple a little yellow in there. And that's not really anything else I want to do. So that's done. And then this, same thing, I want to do some yellow highlights. Stipple, stipple. Ah, let's see if I can ruin another thing. Let's wipe the handle off, make sure I didn't get any paint on it, which I did. There's some yellow there. End up ruining another picture because I get paint where I don't want it. I'm just showing you the stipple. Okay, I want to brighten up these centers here. I don't like how they're and then like I say, because sometimes when I'm doing these colors, when I'm color enhancing, they'll bleed into the center, or I'll make a mistake and go too far, and then they will Okay. This is the star of the show right here. So that's about all I want to do. Maybe. Okay. And then this one, the only thing I want to do, I think I need a little bit more yellow out, is I want to just highlight the seeds on the center there. Oh, the paint's drying up. I don't feel like I'm getting anything on there. Okay. Let's see if that's better. Yeah, getting a little bit now. It's a balance between okay. And there's nothing, there's no centers of any of the larkspur showing, so really there's nothing more to do. So we're done with that. And then the last one we did was this guy, and there's a little seed deal here. There's a little stamen deal here, and here, and here. That's about it. Okay. All right. We're done. So these were, to recap where we're at now, these were things done on card, paper, cardstock, things like that. Hopefully I will go into some processing on glass. I want to, for example, I want to make some coasters, and I've got some glass. Let me show you. I can grab it real quick. Got these glass pieces, and they're 4x4, and I want to make coasters out of them with real flowers. And I basically want to use this technique. I got pieces of flower all over. Which is totally different, and so that will be hopefully interesting for anybody that wants to watch, because it will be going from putting the flowers on top. The glue is on actually the laminate. The glue is on top of the paper, and then the flowers are put on sticky paper, and then the sticky paper is put on the glass. And I love this. This is a bevel, so it doesn't make a good coaster. And the nice thing is you can look at it this way and hang it this way, or you can do it as a square. And I'm not sure how I'm going to finish this, because I'm thinking maybe I will copper foil the edges and then solder and make it for something that you can hang. And I'm thinking that maybe for something different we'll do it this way. Hang it this way. So anyway, I don't know, but I do want to make some coasters. Similar technique in how the flowers were applied, but to flat glass rather than beveled glass. So that's on the process video list of things to do, hopefully sooner rather than later. So I just wanted to kind of give you an upcoming preview. So that's it. Thank you for tuning in, and you've got a lot of patience if you've hung with me because it's been a series of hours and hours so far. And the next part that we do, I will take the bookmarks and the pictures that we've done and we'll finish them up and talk about laminates and how to protect flowers, and then you'll see everything from start to finish, including color enhancement, and you'll be on your way to go to developing your own techniques and your own ideas and your own style. So thanks again for tuning in, and have a wonderful evening.